10 TVL die Pubertät mit ihrem Jungen gut meistern. I'm going to give you 10 tips only in which the parents should master and know how to behave once their son is in his puberty stage. Okay, most guys in their puberty stage become more disobedient, stubborn, and all that. You, as a parent, you are worried. What should I do? What am I going to do to make my son have a good character? So let's dive into the video. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mary Doreen, and on this episode of Youth and Home Education, I'm going to be telling parents what they have to be doing once their son has reached this puberty stage. Okay, the first thing I will advise a parent to do is sei aufmerksam. Sei aufmerksam. Try to be paying attention to your son's attitude. Remember, I have already said before that once they're seeing the puberty, you have to give them a separate room. Give them time to have their own privacy. But you have to be paying attention to know what they do with their time, their privacy. What do they do most times when they're alone? Notice how they decorate their rooms. And know the kind of internet website they are going into. Try to see if they have started pornography, if they have started things like drugs, alcohol, and so. But I don't mean you should be spying on them here and there and they start being suspicious. No, you have to do it in a very normal sense. But try to understand what they do mostly and know how to guide them. Number 2 thing as a parent that you are supposed to do is zeige keine Kritikfähigkeit. Do not show that you can criticize them. Stop showing them criticism in any little thing they do, because these young boys at this stage, they are not yet ready to receive criticism. And if you criticize them so much, it's going to make them stay away from you and start seeing you as someone who doesn't support them. And in this case, I will advise for you to criticize them, you have to look out for good sentences or good words you can use to criticize them. For example, if your son is not doing too good, let me say in the school, you will say something like, I'm afraid you are not going to pass this semester. I'm afraid your results are going to be bad. If your boy likes beating the siblings, you will be like, I'm afraid you are becoming worse in your attitude. I'm afraid that you are no longer being so nice to your siblings. I regret to say that I don't like the way you beat your younger one. I don't like the way you nag at them. Please try and be nicer to them. These are the kind words that you can say to a young boy, and he will think of a way to correct his attitude. But once you start shouting at him, don't ever beat them again. Don't ever try that nonsense. Let me catch it. Once you start saying such things, you know that the person will be sad immediately. The person will not like to be close to the siblings, and as well, the person will like to be away from you. Number 3. Zeige Verständnis und Hilfe. Show understanding and help whenever you need to help them. Remember, this is the time they are molding their character. Sometimes you see them, they are getting annoyed, worked up with things, and if they repair something, they cannot, if the thing do not function, they get annoyed, they destroy things, they beat their younger ones, all this emotional attitude. So your work is to give them candid advice. Like, I would advise you to keep that in for the moment and rest. Your simple advice can guide them and also try to offer them help. Let me say they're trying to repair something or figure out a question. You can give them your own advice. When they have emotional problems, like you notice that they are becoming too angry and all that, I will advise that you give them advice like this. You can tell them, höre Musik. Okay, listen to music. Schreibe Tagebuch. Write a diary. Ruf einen Freundin an. Call a friend. Geh spazieren, go for a walk, and all that, because these are ways they should start learning how to control their emotions. The fourth thing I'm going to talk about is stelle Regeln und Grenzen auf. Try to set rules for them and show them boundaries. Like most times in the house, these boys would like to leave the works for the girls to be doing alone. You should give them rules and regulations of how Haushaltsaktivitäten is going to be. That is Haushaltsaktivities, wie zum Beispiel Kleiderreinigung, that is washing of clothes, things like Abwasch, Waschen, Wäsche waschen, Bad putzen, sauber machen, Müll unterbringen, throwing dustbin, and other things that they are supposed to do. You share the words for them so that they also participate in the house chores. And when it comes to problems of emotion, like emotionale Aktivitäten, you control it. You can tell them some things they can do to control their emotional activities. For example, in the house, you can tell them kein Schlag. No slapping in the house, keine mobbing, no bullying of anybody in the house. Make it as a rule. If they go outside and fight, try to show that you understand the situation that made them to fight, but you have to tell them most times when somebody doing something, don't just go fighting. Fighting most times is not the solution. The solution is somehow being calm. The fifth thing I'm going to talk about is bitte deine Hilfe an. Try to offer your own help, because these young ones, they need your help. Let them know that you will be the first person they should think of once they need help. So the parents are supposed to be there for their children. Let it not be that whenever your child needs help, your child starts thinking of another person or a friend or another uncle or aunt. You are supposed to be the main person that he should think of. How do you help them? Being available and as well showing them that you have the Fähigkeit, Probleme zu lösen. You have the ability to solve problems, be it their monetary problems, be it emotional problem, be it a psychological problem, or the herausforderungen, that is all the challenges that they are going to see, that you will offer them protection, discuss all their problems with them. Discussion is a very good way of trying to solve problem with these young children. Try to show them that you want to discuss with them one-on-one. Number 6, dränge keine tiefgreifende Gespräch auf. Do not go making a very deep discussions, because I have talked about discussing with them. Do not go into deeper discussions with them. Just plouch like little discussions that you can do with them. You can talk about girls and using yourself as experience. Okay, you tell them advantages and disadvantages of sex and all that. These things are what you should discuss, but do not go asking them if they already have a boyfriend or girlfriend or all that, and do not try to condemn things to the extreme. And as well, discuss things with them by going for a short walk with them, maybe along the beach or in the woods, that's Spazierengehen, or you can decide to take a drive with him, or you can go for lunch break with them, or any of those things. They help a lot for you to have the opportunity to strike out a conversation between you and your son. 7. Lass ihn entscheiden treffen. Allow him to make his own decision. The title before Mondigen is vorbei. The time of not talking or pampering him has gone, because this is the time you have to start training him to start making his own decision. By training him to make his own decision, it's going to help him to become the man he wants to be. So allow him to start making certain decisions. Anything that comes up, you can ask him, what do you think about this? Okay, you can direct his decisions to the right decision, but not making the decisions for them. Any decision for they make counts, or their own personal decision should count. And also tell them the disadvantages and advantages of any decision they have made, and that is the only way you can direct their decision making. Number 18 a parent should do for a son that is in puberty is sharing your own personal experience. Erzähl ihm deine persönliche Erfahrung. So as Beispiel, by telling him your own personal experience as an example, you will see that he is going to learn faster from your experience. You know, you also talk about things like deine erste Philip height, like the first time we fell in love, what happens, what the girl did and all that. Let it be like a joke. Like that, you are trying to teach your son to know how to handle himself when he see himself falling in love with a girl. Because most of the time when boys fall in love for the first time, no one is there for them to guide them. The parents are not there to guide them. Their fellow boys or friends will even be laughing at them, and sometimes they don't even know how they feel. And you know that when you love a girl and she doesn't reciprocate, sometimes, especially when it is your first love, it can lead to depression. So it is very important that parents use their own personal experience to talk to their boys. Once boys fall in love like that and the love is not reciprocated, you see them, they will be lonely. They will now be distancing themselves from other siblings, other family, feeling sad, feeling lonely and all that. So it's better that parents avoid all these things for them. The ninth thing I'm going to be talking about is Aufgaben verteilen. That is sharing tasks together, sharing homeworks together, sharing activities together. Anything that is a work that you have to do in the house or anywhere, you can decide to share it alongside with your son. In this case, you are being more close to your son, you are being there for your son, because he's experiencing his puberty and this is the time he doesn't know himself. You can decide to do things like Autoversion, you can watch cars together, things like in Gartenarbeiten, you can work together in the garden, Kleidungsversion, Geräte kaufen, you can go and buy things like phone together, gehen, Sportschreiben, going for sports, and in Kino gehen, in theater gehen, and so on, going to cinema or theater or the party, that is a birthday party together and all that. That helps to bring your son very close to you. The last thing that I have, which is the 10th thing, is tauschen mit anderen Eltern aus. Try to exchange your own experience, your son's experience, whatever your son is doing, the experience together with other parents. Try to ask them how they treat certain situations. There are some situations that you might see your son, you wouldn't know what to do. You can ask other parents how they handle their own situation. Like that, you will know exactly what you are going to do in your own situation. So having said all of this, please remember to like, subscribe and share this video, please. I expect to see you in my next video. Thank you so much and cheers.